Welcome back everyone to our playthrough of the career mode here in NASCAR Heat 2. So in our last race at Texas, we came away with what I think is a great finish. We were within sight of the leaders who themselves had a great race over the last few laps for the victory. So I think that turned out just about perfect. We were maybe 5-6 laps away from being able to run them down and being part of that fight for the victory. So with the number of laps we have in these cup races, I think that was about the best that we could possibly hope for. But now, as we click on next race, you can see we are ready for Bristol. And really no explanation is needed for Bristol. Bristol is a lot of fun. It's also very frustrating whenever you get a lot of cars that get 2 and 3 wide in front of you. But so you have to use some patience. And then at some point, you're going to have to get aggressive and take it 3 wide if you want to make passes as quickly as possible, because we don't have, although we have more laps at Bristol than we have had in the past in the trucks and the XFINITY cars, we have nowhere near a full race to run. So at some point you have to decide, when am I going to be aggressive? When am I going to be patient? And how hard am I going to push this thing? That's what it's all about. Let's head to Bristol. Before we get the race started, let's take a quick look at the setup itself, and more of the same that we've been using at basically all of the tracks. The springs are highlighted because we are using 50 pounds of rear spring split, which should keep the car fairly tight and make it very difficult for us to hang the bottom and get underneath these guys, particularly off the corners. Also, under miscellaneous settings, we have 8.5 inches of track bar on both the left and right side. So once again, we're not going to have a very loose race car. We're not going to have a car that wants to rotate very well, which is going to make it even more difficult for us to try to get to the front. Let's go ahead and get the race started. All right, green flag is out here at Bristol, and let's see what we've got. As always, we are starting at the back, no laps of qualifying or practice. That is pushed loose off the corner. Push loose is a horrible condition to have because it makes you feel like the car is loose because the back end wants to slide around on you. But the problem is that you're so tight the car doesn't turn, and by the time it does turn and the front wheels actually get some grip, that you already have so much wheel in it trying to get the car to turn that the rear end breaks loose on you. So it's a terrible condition to have, and really the only way to fight it outside of making adjustments to the car is to simply back off. You're going to have to allow the car to rotate on its own, or use maybe drag the brake a little bit if you got the right brake bias, something like that. Just anything to help that car turn. So I'm trying to hug this bottom as best I can. And at the same time, just sort of getting a feel for what we've got in the car as far as speed. We've worked our way up to 31st, and we've got 65 laps here, so quite a few laps. But of course, those are going to click off very quickly at this track. Of course, these laps that we're running are incredibly slow compared to what we should be doing around this track. Trying to hug that bottom and give these guys as much room as possible, particularly when I feel like we're on the verge of going 3 wide. All right, 13 cars getting down here in front of us, which is going to make it very difficult on us. So Dylan is in 25th. If we can clear him, which it looks like for some reason he's decided he wants to run the bottom. Oh, look out. Yikes. 6 car got into our right rear, and I could feel him trying to pull us around. It was extremely difficult to get off of him. Now, if I can use the whole track, the car obviously will handle better because I can sort of diamond the corner and let the car rotate a little bit better on its own, just simply by using more track. But when you try to hug the bottom the way I'm doing, oh, the car just doesn't want to rotate. Alright, so we're up to 23rd, so we're almost halfway through the field, having passed nearly half the cars in about 13 laps. So, very nice. The more spread out these cars are, the easier it is, even though it means you have to pass them one at a time as opposed to 2 or 3 at a time. It's still much better racing. Ooh, watch out. Going into that corner and was beginning to wonder if I was going to come out. But you can see we're definitely a lot faster than these guys that we're racing around right now. As long as it stays like this, we'll be able to work our way toward the front in a more smooth and orderly fashion. And those are words that you generally do not hear used to discuss Bristol. Anytime I'm able to let the car just drift a little bit in the center of the corner, let it rotate naturally, that's a beautiful thing. I am thoroughly enjoying right now having some open track to ourselves. Yeah, this thing is just so tight. Trying to goose the gas a little bit earlier in the center of the corner, or just before the center of the corner, to try to clear these guys when I get under them, so that I can have a clear exit. Alright, now we'll try to set up Paul Menard to get under him, and that is, of course, if I can maneuver around the 43. Alright, the 43 finally worked his way clear, which will help me, because the 43 seems to be working the lower side of the track. There we go, we're by Menard. Now we're into 19th. Alright, so we're able to make the pass, at least for now, on the 43. And we'll set our sights on whoever is next. Looks like maybe Harvick up there in front of the lap car of Cole Witt. Alright, so far I'd have to say this race is going quite nicely. We're able to work our way up through the field, but not overly quickly.
Get to the bottom. Get to the bottom. There's still a car out there. Clear up top.
Alright, so we are very close to cracking the top 15 now. In fact, I'm trying to see, because both of the cars in front of us, immediately in front of us, are lap traffic.
Get to the bottom. Steady.
These are the cars that are still running in the positions where we started. Ouch. A little bit of a bump there from Timmy Hill, who's not wanting to make things very easy for us. Alright, it's Jeffrey Earnhardt immediately in front of us. Again, another lap car.
Hold the bottom. Hold your line.
Wow, I'm looking for another lead lap car right now, and I'm having a hard time finding one. Because everybody I'm seeing is a lap down.
Taking care of it. We're only halfway.
Alright, so there's the halfway call.
There's still a car out there. Still there. He's outside. Clear quick.
Alright, so we got Ryan Newman just up ahead, who is in 16th. So finally, another lead lap car. The good news for us is that we generally get through the lap traffic quite a bit better than the AI does. So we can make up a lot of time that way.
All clear. All clear.
We've got 30 laps to go, which is plenty of time to get a good finish. I'm hoping right now we can get our way to the top 10, but of course that's just going to depend on how spread out these cars are in front of us. I mean, you can see we're clearly faster than Ryan Newman. But in front of us, they're running 3 wide, and at least a couple of those are lead lap cars.
There's still a car out there.
Alright, so I'm going to try to take my time as much as you can at Bristol anyway. There's no such thing as true patience at Bristol. We're trying to make our way by the 21.
Steady. Outside's clear. Inside's still there.
Well, that is a mess. Luckily, I think everybody survived. And once again, Ryan Newman proving to be the most difficult person in all of autosport to pass.
Stay on the bottom. Hold steady wheel. Clear. Outside, still there.
You can see he's got some speed.
Hold your line.
He's got just enough speed to hang with me out there.
Outside's clear.
There we go. We finally cleared him again. Let's see where the other lap cars are. And I'm still looking. I see the 2 car up there. Not sure about the 17.
Hold steady wheel.
I love the look of that 32 car that's right next to us.
Clear.
That paint scheme and the color and everything, I really like that. All right, so more lap traffic.
Outside. Clear. Clear up top. 20 laps to go.
All right, so Stenhouse is indeed down a lap. And he's going to run right down here where we want to run. One of the joys of Bristol, trying to figure out how to get around cars that are running the same part of the track as you. Also, much like real life, I noticed that Stenhouse and Danica Patrick running right around each other. So I guess some things have been accurately modeled in the game. All right, finally we get to another lead lap car, and it is Junior. Junior running in the 15th spot. All right, and the laps are definitely winding down.
Still a car out there.
Like Junior had a little trouble getting off that corner as well. He looked a little squirrely. All right, there's DJ Kennington again. I believe that's the car we got into a little bit earlier.
Outside. Clear.
Then I see another teammate immediately in front of us, and that is the 24 car, who is also a lap down, I believe. Yes, 25th. So
Clear low, stay low. Hold your line. Outside, real tight. All clear, driver.
all right, I see Matt Kenseth in front of us in 14th. So that's going to be our next potential pass for position. But again, the lap cars are a whole lot more plentiful right now on the track, it seems, than the lead lap cars. Anybody we want to fight for position is much harder to find.
Hold and steady well. Outside, hold your line. Clear.
All right, we're getting there.
10 laps here. Focus. Clear quick.
10 more laps, and right now I am focused on the back end of Matt Kenseth's car, because we're going to get there. The question is, are we going to have enough time to do anything once we get there? Because he is in a hornet's nest up here.
Clear all the way.
Some of these lap cars, I feel like we've passed about 5 different times.
Easy, easy. Outside, real tight.
And we're only running 15th. We're not even close to the lead. All right, 7 more laps to go. You can see we've really run up on these guys. Oh, I didn't realize that David Reagan was for position. I just assumed he was multiple laps down. But you can see how much we run up on him, particularly in the center of the corner. And that's without me using any throttle in the center of the corner, basically just floating it in there. All right, 5 more laps, and finally I see some more lead lap cars in front of us. And I think we're going to run out of time.
All clear, driver.
There's Jeffrey Earnhardt again. Oh, look out now.
Outside, real tight.
Wow.
Clear high, get up there. Clear, clear.
It's always fun when you get into a lap car like that. There is nowhere to hide. Ouch, he got us again. Alright, come on now, Jeffrey Earnhardt. Don't be like this. Alright, 2 more laps. Kenseth is immediately in front of us, and I'm guessing that Clint Boyer, who is immediately in front of him, is also for position. Alright, final lap. So let's throw it down in here and see if we can't get by him in turn 3 and 4. Alright, did we get him? 13th place. I think we got him. Right there at the end. So not bad. Not bad. That was a lot of fun. And of course very aggravating whenever you can't get the car to do what you want it to do. So 13th. Not bad at all. We will take that. So they lapped all the way up to 17th. Let's see who is down. Yeah, -3 laps toward the back of the field. Yeah, that's just not good. Notice Jimmy Johnson gets the win. That'll be his 2nd win of the season. So far, all of the wins are congregating in just a few drivers. So we have 3 wins now. Kyle Busch and Jimmy Johnson each have 2. So right now we have 3 guys that are comfortably in the playoffs. Alright, so fastest lap, Kyle Busch. I have no idea how close we were to that, because I was definitely not looking at lap times. Alright, so what's next? Next up is Richmond. So another short track, and then after Richmond, I believe we go to Talladega, if memory serves me correctly. So coming up next, Richmond is a very fun track. But of course, we'll have to see how far to the front we can get, and that'll be in our next video. For now, thank you very much for joining me, and stay tuned for more NASCAR Heat 2.